So good afternoon.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah, great. Thanks, Lisa. How are you doing today?
Yes, good. Thank you. Very good. Nice to see you twice in one day.
Yes. Yeah.
Which aptly brings me on to what we're going to talk about today. The importance of networking in 2020 and beyond, and why it's probably more important now than ever, and it should be important. So, what have you got for us today, Jojo? What's your nuggets today?
Well, we decided, didn't we, that we were just going to have a general chat and review the past 6 months that we've all come through. Everyone keeps saying we're still here. And for me personally, I like to focus on good luck, good news stories. So we talked to a couple of people this morning in the networking event, didn't we, that have started their own businesses, got them up and running during COVID and lockdown, and the past 6 months of it being particularly challenging, more so than normal. And yeah, so we just thought we'd have a bit of a review. And one of the things I just wanted to bring up was talking about the importance of networking, because we've also talked to people in the past saying, well, I don't like being out there, I don't like being online, and we may be used to doing things in person.
Yes.
And having to take that online, which is maybe a bit of a different experience, but in some ways a really good experience as well, because like we were saying, in the networking events that you've been organising, where you've got, say, 30 people, we can get to speak to everybody in that room and in our breakout rooms and really have good chats with people. You've got the opportunity to put all your contact details in the chat, which you can then send afterwards. So we've got a list of everything all in one place, ready, done for us. And that actually a lot of the whole Zoom online networking is working really well for a lot of people. And I think, we've got to bear in mind that we're potentially about to go into another 6 months of what we've been through without quite as much summer sunshine, which I think is going to make it, a little bit more challenging, even more so than normal. At least most of us have managed to perhaps escape for a nice socially distanced walk along the seafront now and again, even if we haven't been away anywhere. And so, actually the dissertation I wrote during my master's degree was talking about managing uncertainty and complexity. And at this moment in time, the biggest word that keeps coming up, of course, is confusion. And of course, it's like even more different across the country for everybody now, with all the 3 tiers of, what level you can and can't go and do things.
Exactly.
And like you're saying, it's really important to make sure that you're continuing to raise your profile and you're continuing to make sure that your messages about what you do are getting out there. So we thought we'd just maybe review all the things we've covered in the past. So you're well-known, well-phrased 1-minute elevator pitch, but the UK version just I tend to sort of use my 3-minute intro to really get it clear about what it is you do and maybe how you can help others and how they can help you, how maybe they can put you in contact with the next person that might help you with your business. And we've talked a lot about focusing on what it is you need to do. So I've talked to a lot of people recently that, have very kind of disciplined work weeks, not absolutely, full timetable to the max with everything booked in, but for example, might spend Monday just writing their blog. They might spend Tuesday doing the podcast, or they might do, say, today's podcast and then go away and write their blog on the back of their podcast. Or they might be writing a book, or they've written a book and then they can break that down into their blogs, or they may turn their blogs into a collation of their blogs and make that into a book. So it can kind of work both ways, can't it? So it's just about really thinking about productivity that we've talked about in the past, and using your time well and productively. And many of us were very bright and breezy, I would say, first thing this morning on our 8 o'clock networking event. So I thought this would be a good chance for you as well, Lisa, to just really talk a little bit more about the networking events that you've been doing and the 11s, which has been really useful. And I think, one of the things that came up today, I was listening to a webinar just now, And it's about that message constantly and consistently going out there wherever you're putting that out there, whether it's traditional print, press, local newspapers or magazines that you might be putting an ad into, or whether it's doing your digital online work, and just making sure that you're consistently there. So I understand that you've got a few now regular events coming up that you might want to tell us the next date of the networking event for anybody who hasn't come along yet and wants to join us.
Well, we have got several different ones coming up, actually. Some of them I can't really talk about a great deal at the minute because we've got some exciting plans coming up. But
great. Look forward to hearing all about it.
Hello.
Yeah, sorry, lost you there for a minute.
No, then it just went. Ooh, it went off.
Oh, we're still here then. Okay, so I don't know.
Such exciting plans. I thought I'd go.
Well, we had that this morning, didn't we? With people just disappearing and coming back again, sort of from cyberspace, and especially when you do the breakout rooms.
Do you know what? All I'm going to say today is technology is definitely not on my side today. People were vanishing.
It's one of those days. It's how it goes sometimes.
I think what it is because Dave's very unwell at the moment, and I think he's just sabotaging it. He's just messing me about today. He's giving me an extra
so he looks really good when he comes back.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but so the networking side of things, what we're trying to do is we're trying to get more to put stuff back, really, because obviously we never actually got round to going back out to doing the face-to-face. A lot of other people were out there starting to do that, and then we were going to do one in October, and guess what? No, we couldn't do it. So we've kind of thought, well, for us, we're not a networking group. It's not just about the networking. It's about the whole thing, marketing, the expo and everything. And
you do absolutely loads of different things.
Yeah, so we just wanted to bring back for the members, the mentors like yourself, basically some added value in the sense of getting other people in to do the networking events. But we kind of figured that, the 11s are brilliant, and they're not every day of the week anymore. They're only on a Monday and a Friday. And the reason for that is because they're only half an hour. It's just like a coffee break. It's a general chat. Sometimes business is spoken about, but it's more friendly, have a laugh and a joke, a bit of banter, get to know each other.
Yeah, we do have a laugh, don't we?
Exactly. Whereas what we did this morning was more of a structured networking. Now, we did do it a little bit differently this morning in the sense of we just kept putting you in the breakout rooms. And the reason for that is if you were in a natural environment outside networking, you would just go and talk to everybody in the room and have a general chat. And like we said, networking itself it's not always necessarily about the people that are in the room with you. It's about whoever they know as well. So ordinarily, you kind of have the people that you want to talk to and your go-to people, but that doesn't mean you can't talk to the rest of them either. And I think you were what was it, the last event you came to, and you said you had 5 great connections on that day that led you on.
It was your first networking event that you did.
Exactly.
And so the follow-up's really important, and I always think strike while the iron is hot is a good one to do. So you do it immediately afterwards, and then get in touch with everybody, so that you don't kind of go away and do something else and then come back to that a few days later, and just do it at the time. So it was that one. So
so it's basically the same event as what we had this morning. It is good because to be fair, this morning, for whatever reason, the amount of people that booked on, a lot of them didn't turn up, which is very frustrating. But it's not frustrating in the sense for me personally, because it's not myself that's sort of doing that network. I'm trying to get you to connect with others. So what would you say to people who are wanting to network, but then maybe for whatever reason they can't turn up or whatever? How does it affect you when you're networking? How do you view it yourself?
I think the way we looked at it this morning, which we had a chat about, is that obviously if people are really, really busy, then that's good, because hopefully that means that business is good.
Definitely.
And so something has come up. We know that in some cases it might have been a little bit of a home family crisis that needed sorting out. Obviously, it's good manners to give someone as much notice as you possibly can if you know you can't make it after all, because you may be stopping someone else from getting a place that came in too late and couldn't get booked into it, because sometimes the places are limited, aren't they?
Yes.
And that also, by consistently coming and making that commitment, you will then start to there's the whole know, like, trust issue, isn't there? So you'll start to get to know people, they'll start to hopefully like you, but also know that if you know what you're talking about and you're the right person for them, that they can trust that you will do the job you said you would do. And this is another point we were making as well when we were chatting outside of today, was just finding the right people and how important it is to find the right people. And again, obviously everybody's looking to make sure that they are in contact with the right customers for them, or people that they can help themselves, hopefully have a mutually beneficial arrangement, but also to just make sure that you're getting those recommendations and that you're being put in touch by someone who does know that person, they've used their services, or they know that they can definitely recommend them. So that especially when you're doing things like your website or your social media campaigns, whatever it is you're doing, you're not getting entangled with people who perhaps, as we found, may be saying that they are good at doing something and they're not actually as adept or skilled as they may be making out. And it's often really can be a very frustrating and a bit of a nightmare to untangle yourself from that situation, which may use up a lot of your time and resources, and things, for example, that you may have done sooner, like getting your products or your services out there to your potential clients, may have been held back as a result of that. So when you are networking, be very clear about where you want to be doing it, who will be the right organizations for you to go out there and do your networking, who are the right people for you to get in contact with if you're not sure where those potential clients may be, to talk to the people in your networking group and get that advice and be really solid. And then take that forward, make sure you've got things in writing properly, you've got expectations and managed so that you know what you're paying for and what you're going to get delivered in return, what your time scale is for delivery, so you're very clear about that's not going to drag on, it's going to happen when you've got maybe something else that you're launching at the same time, and so you want those things to all come together and coordinate. And so it's making the right steps in the right direction for everybody, isn't it?
I think that's the point I was trying to make when I was saying about people and how it makes you feel with them not coming to events and stuff. It's not in a negative thing, exactly what you just said. I think sometimes people, like this morning, we had people on there who've not done this before, been on or anything like that. And I know it's a very daunting and scary thing, but actually this kind of is now how networking is going to be for us for the foreseeable. So the past 6 months, there were a lot of people that dropped off the radar, and obviously they were probably hoping to come back again once this was over. It's now going into another 6 months. So that's a whole year of not being visible and not making those connections. And as frightening and as daunting as it can be, come and chat with me. You can even chat with Jo Jo or anyone and just say, look, can I do a trial Zoom with you to see what it's like? Because you're missing out on so many opportunities. And at the end of the day, for us, as I said, it's frustrating because we want to be able to make sure we bring people in so you can meet them. But it's frustrating for us in the sense that they're going to miss out. And we really want people to understand that, whilst face-to-face is the best thing and we all like it and we all need it, this is the best that we have to deal with now. And love it or hate it, when we do our events, we send out questions and we ask people, what do you prefer? And the overwhelming majority of people prefer to do both. But actually, surprising that a lot of people want to do just face-to-face, but they've come on to the Zoom because they know they still need to be seen, and that's all that they can do for now. But when we've asked them, when we do face-to-face, would you like to come, or would you like to stick with doing online? They're straight the way back to face-to-face because it's not natural for them to do this. But as yourself, you experienced real good numbers in one event that you came along to. But that's because you've been also going to the 11s, so you've met some of these people, and it takes time. You can't just go to an event and be there and say, hi, I'm Lisa, go, and then come back 6 months later and expect everyone to remember who Lisa is, because there'll be several Lisas that come and go in between that, and some Lisas will stay for a lot longer. So therefore, you have to be consistent, and it's not because we're saying, oh, come and do it with us because we're the best. There's lots of different networking groups out there and lots of different people that you can go and work with, and you will find what suits you. And so
absolutely.
This is the key. It's not a case of, oh, come to us, we're the best. We're not saying we're the best at anything, but we're saying to you is, look, we're here. We want to help you. We genuinely want to help you grow your business and get your name out there. So come along and try it. What's your experience been with the networking? Because I remember in the beginning you said that you weren't really into doing this sort of thing, and obviously the 11s is for you. You were there from the beginning, way before I started. So what was your first experience like of networking online?
It was actually really great because I'm, as you know, a fairly sort of open extrovert type, but over the years, with the type of business and the type of industry I've been working in, a lot of my time, a lot of it is online. So when I do my translation work, when I'm doing my teaching, my mentoring, obviously that's more face-to-face, although a lot of that has been online over the last 6 months. But because in a way I'd got very used to a traditional way of doing my work, to get back out there and kind of be online again and in front of people, and, you know, you don't have to share all your opinions in 11s. You can just sit and listen to what other people are saying till you feel more confident to do that. And actually, maybe the first couple of times, more doing the podcast probably, you know, had that sort of like, ooh, slight butterflies in my stomach. But I think, you know, when you're kind of performing, which you are in a way, not so much on the networking and the 11s events, but like our, you know, podcast that we've been doing live, you know, it's always good actually to feel slightly nervous, because you think, well, you don't get complacent then. But I think what I would say is, you know, we all maybe feel a little bit nervous about that. But once you've been to one or two and you start to feel confident, you start to get to know everybody. In a way, that's the same as when you go to a face-to-face networking event. You don't know very many people when you first get there, or anyone at all. And you have to do that small talk and break the ice and do some, you know, some conversation or introduce yourself. And yeah, it's just, I think the biggest thing I've learned from the last 6 months is what many of our other mentors and other mentors before that have given advice about, which is to just say, just try something, just do it, just go for it, give it a go, and it will all lead to other things. So if you kind of think, well, you know, I haven't ever put a blog up there because that means putting my opinion and what will people think and will they agree with me and all that kind of stuff, is if you're nervous about doing something like that, then write something that you feel really passionately about and you want to give it a go, and just run it by 2 or 3 people, get them to have a read of it, write something, just 1 page to start with, and just, you know, get some feedback. And if you're then happy to go ahead, just put it up there. What's the worst that can happen? Someone might put something that is more like constructive criticism, and then, you know, learn to take that on board and respond to it, and it might just start a really interesting open discussion about something. So yeah, I found that actually sort of being back out there and in contact with people and reaching out to people and doing that the closest we can, as you say, doing these online networking events, the 11s, our podcasts and everything, is the next best thing to face. And especially when people are maybe feeling isolated. I mean, I'm quite used to working at home on my own, so it hasn't been a massive psychological transition for me in the same way as it must have been for a lot of people. But yeah, like you say, everything you do will lead to the next thing, and it will lead to the next person, and it will lead to the next introduction. And as we were saying, you know, there are certain quick wins in your business, but one of them, like this, is the groundwork. You have to keep putting it in, and it will pay off. Perseverance will pay off. And anyway, what I wanted to share was this morning, interestingly enough, I might have just been, you know, watching the news and maybe a little bit of daytime television to see what topical events were for today's podcast. And interestingly, one of them was Mel C from the Spice Girls, saying that actually she never really liked putting herself out there that much over social media, even though, you know, she's a big famous face. But during lockdown, because they couldn't tour and they couldn't do their gigs as normal, she did live Q&As with her fans, and just found that actually it helped them and her just as much. She felt better by doing them because it was that mutually beneficial arrangement. And really, you know, that's what the networking is about. It's not just growing your business and not just going to find business opportunities, but it is about taking advantage of those opportunities at this moment in time, especially if you're offering for people to be able to do those. And it is also just about the information that you gain, top tips that other people share with you. It's about sharing your own ideas or what you've learned, your experience, your wisdom from especially coming through the last 6 months and still being here. And that's why I like the good news stories, because, you know, if you watch the news too much, it's all very doom and gloom. Whereas if you listen to what other people are saying, it's much more inspirational and motivating and positive, because there are people that are setting up businesses at this moment in time and they're doing okay, they're getting set up and they're starting and they're still here and you know, successfully running their businesses. And the networking is one of the biggest things that will help you in your business, but just help you feel better on a daily basis by connecting with others as much as you still can. So yeah,
there is the flip side of things as well. Lizzie, just before I forget, so Elizabeth Melvin Photography, absolutely fantastic photographer. She says, I find all sorts of networking really useful. Still like face-to-face best because you get more from body language, I think. And I agree with that. That's why I'm a very handy person. I'm always doing this. Every message I send to people, I put kisses on. I always put love always Lisa. If ever there's a message that goes on social media and it doesn't have love always Lisa, it's probably because Lisa is not feeling too great that day. And that's the honest truth, because I want people to know that everything comes from me is genuinely coming with love and wanting to help you as much as I can. But what you just said then, and it's a very valid point in the sense that there is a lot of positivity out there. And actually, if we all help each other, hopefully that will make things a little bit easier. But at the same time, and whether this is the right platform to say this or not, I don't know, but there is a lot of industries out there that are really, really struggling at the moment. And I do really feel for them, mainly because I have a lot of friends that work in events industries and events, and, you know, and seeing how they are suffering because they cannot even do their jobs. And as you know, I'm a big advocate and of supporting mental health and all that kind of thing. And I worry about people. I don't worry about businesses. I worry about people. Businesses can't run without the people, but people can't live without the businesses. And it's a thing that all intertwined together. And I just really, really do hope that anybody watching this that may be in not a particularly great place because they're so worried about everything, whilst we're sitting here saying it's important to network and get out there, that doesn't just mean network business wise as well.
Exactly, because there's so much more to it than just getting more business on board, isn't there? And especially over the last 6 months, we've all learned from that we're gathering together our little group of people online that are the ones that we, you know, will start out by just getting to know them and eventually will become good friends in the same way as if you were doing business in the outside world. But how much more important that is now, as we were saying, people do business with people, you know, is one of the big phrases that's always out there, isn't it? And that most of us, first of all, obviously we're looking at the credentials of people to know that they definitely can do the job we want them to do for us, or vice versa. But also we generally want to be working with people that are going to make our lives easier and happier and better, and, you know, hopefully maybe become good friends as well. I mean, when I lived out in Taiwan and worked out there, and China and all over the world, many of my work colleagues have become some of my closest lifelong friends. So I'm like you, Lisa, that's really important. And for a lot of people, it isn't necessarily so important. They're more just, well, I do business and that's how I do business. And, that's kind of maybe the more corporate approach to doing business. But I think definitely for many of us in a sort of small business context, it's very much about doing business, but definitely with people we like, and about sharing those top tips and ideas so that other people can grow and develop and learn, and so that we don't just learn and do things maybe the hard way ourselves, but we then hopefully share that with others and make their lives better as a result of doing that.
And if we can help each other a little bit, even if it's just a friendly ear, I'm putting myself out here really saying that. So if anybody is watching and actually thinks, do you know what, I'm all for being on Facebook. You won't get me doing a Facebook Live. You definitely wouldn't get me popping on here and doing anything like this. Just get in touch with me, because I'm more than happy to help you and show you. Because believe it or not, it's only just slightly over a year ago that this person sitting here would never, ever have done this. I wouldn't stand up in public and speak to people. And I had so many people come to me and say to me, I can't actually believe it because you seem so, so confident. But I'm not really. And a lot of it, of what you see on social media and everything, I am a heart on my sleeve. I tell you exactly what I'm thinking, whether it's good or bad. But at the same time, Lisa has two sides to me. I'm so super confident. Yes, I know I'm capable of this. But then I have this person stood next to me that's going, no, you can't. You're not good enough. And I can totally sympathise with people out there that are going, I don't want to do that. I can't do that. But I'm telling you, if I can, you can, but you just need a little bit of help and support. So I think to wrap it up today, because obviously we're, I don't know, half an hour in, I think.
Yeah.
In a nutshell, we need to keep networking, whether that's with our family or friends, work-wise, get ourselves out there, get seen, get heard, have conversations, good or bad, whatever it is you need to get off your chest, but just don't be on your own. And don't think anybody else is out there wanting to help you, because we all are. And I'm not a business owner. I'm not rich or anything like that, but I do have a lot of love to give. JoJo's got a lot of great advice. We have several mentors that can help as well. So please do come along and try the events. It is worth your while.
Definitely. And I think, what you're saying as well, Lisa, is about the conversations. Because, there's been a lot of chat, of course, about people going to networking events because they want to sell their product or their service. But actually, it takes time to find the right people and for you, or to see if they're the right person for you and they want your services or your products. But a lot of it is about building up those relationships of trust and just talking to people and getting information. And then you might find that someone says, oh, I didn't realize that you did that. That's exactly what I'm looking for. I've been looking for you. But if you're not out there and you're not up there and you're not kind of contacting people and networking and taking these opportunities like you've been offering, then no one knows you're there. So, talk, communicate. You'll find, again, the big keyword is collaborations, and you'll start to get in contact with the right people. And just even sometimes coming along, 11s is having a cup of tea and a bit of a chat and a bit of a laugh and some banter just makes you feel better. And then if that means that you can help to grow your business by just being more motivated by someone making you feel more positive, then that's a good thing. So don't miss these opportunities for 11s and networking, because they've definitely really made a difference to me in the past 6 months and a lot of other people. So we're very grateful to you and Dave for all the hard work you've put into all of these activities.
Well,
it's joining them again in the future.
Technically, it's not always been me. I've only been here since July. So Dave and the team
have still done a great job, and the rest of the team.
Yeah, they all did a great job. But I think the only thing to say now is that the whole point of Southwest Business Connections is to engage, connect and grow. So you can engage with me or JoJo or anybody else you see on our pages. That's by having a conversation by the keyboard, messenger, whatever. If we connect, then we can help you grow. But if you're not there, then we can't help you. It's been fantastic talking to you. I can't believe that's gone already. JoJo's email address is below. Get in touch with the lovely lady. And
happy to chat anytime. Any advice I can offer, just give me a shout. Okay. Thanks, Lisa.
See you again next week.
Bye. Yeah, see you. Bye.